Some people think that feminism means that women have to that women have to work, that they're not allowed to stay at home, or that they hate men or something, or that women would rather choose the bear over the man.
Well, they'd rather choose the bear over the man. If you were walking in a forest, which would you rather encounter, a bear or a man? Most women say a bear.
I get it. Like that's well, I don't necessarily get it because I can't understand the perspective, but the fact that most women would respond to this just shows how much of a systemic issue we have, right?
I guess like if you ask me if I were walking through the forest and it was between a very scary like rednecky group of men or a bear, I'd pick the bear too. Cuz like I don't know, have you ever seen Deliverance?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just maybe for women, like maybe for men, only the rednecky ones are rednecky, but for women, maybe more men are rednecky than the ones that are actually rednecky.
A group of guys, like I'd be more. Like, that's the thing. Like I could take off one. I have a fighting chance against one guy, but like a group of marauding, terroristic, white supremacists or something. I don't know. I prefer the bear.
Yeah,
Bears
I
usually
think
run
so.
away. You just make some noise and they run away.
Yeah, I mean, obviously humans are the most dangerous animals on the planet, and men are, because they have so much power and they think they can exercise their power over other women. It's just kind of fucked up. But yeah,
So
don't know.
okay, so you think that most people think when they think feminism, they think that bear thing.
Well, there's people who think that, right? There's people who think feminism means against men. There's people who, because of the sheer name of feminism, they think
Yeah.
that feminism somehow means women over men or something. But it just means equality of sexes, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I think it means a lot of things to a lot of different people. Why do you think feminism gets misunderstood?
why?
Yeah.
Because the way I see it, I think it's because we lived in a society that for a long time men had privilege. And privilege and power. And I think that when they're starting to lose privilege and power, they're starting to see that they have to work for it. Like the male loneliness epidemic comes because women no longer are not forced to be in a relationship.
You're so funny, Chip. Like, there's a women's loneliness epidemic too. It's just the loneliness
Yeah,
epidemic.
there is a loneliness epidemic.
You've been listening to too much male power red pill podcasts. I think male loneliness epidemic.
I don't listen to podcasts, so no, I don't believe it. But there is a male loneliness epidemic. You can't say that. Like men on average do commit, suicide more than women do. So there is this.
At certain ages, women, like one of the leading causes of women under the age of 19 is suicide. So and men, it's usually over 40. Like I am a prime age to kill myself right now. So be careful what you say to me. But the no, it depends on how old you are.
You're too handsome, Sky.
When it comes to suicide rates. But no, it's not because there's not a male loneliness epidemic and a female loneliness epidemic. There's just a loneliness epidemic.
I'll give you that.
And people keep framing it as the male loneliness epidemic because people care more about dudes being lonely because they'll go like shoot up a school or do something crazy and women don't.
There is also, I think there is also something to be said. I do think that there is a little bit more, now that women have more choice and are more educated about their choices. I think that men who maybe in the past would have said shit like, well, women should just stay in the house or stuff like that. When men who say that kind of stuff are having difficulty finding a partner now because, well, they're seeing women as inferior. So of course, a lot of women, knowing that they don't have to put up with that, are just choosing not to. So I think there is also a lot of that going on.
So you're I don't know, you're just giving me like a bunch of just a minefield. But I think first of all, the male loneliness epidemic, I think, is just reframing it to be because we live in a male-centric society. Women are just as lonely as men. It's really weird to me that we have 50% men, 50% women in this world, and yet everyone's calling it the male loneliness epidemic. At least as if women having this choice you're talking about are just happy being alone, and they're not. They're also having all sorts of repercussions because of the loneliness epidemic.
I
People are
think it's
separated.
I agree with you. People are separate, but I think it's also come to the point where, well, obviously there is an issue also with relationships in general, right?
Yeah.
It's there's a problem with social media kind of dividing us apart. There's a problem with us being put in boxes, and you don't date somebody who's outside of your box or stuff like that, right? There's obviously all of that.
Yeah.
But I do still think that there is also a big proportion of men who lost the privilege of, simply getting men, like this guy over here who says, my woman makes good sandwiches, right? Like this person over here, it wouldn't surprise me if this person is alone because he thinks women are property that are good for making sandwiches or something, right? Like
Yeah, but
this
because
person,
he's
like,
but
and
be-
this person will go on the podcast that you claim and complain that, you see, we have a problem, males have a problem. No, the problem is you're being a douche.
women just aren't nice. Well, stop being a
Yeah.
douchebag. But look, think of all the women that are going alone. They're living alone. They're existing completely alone. Not completely, like maybe they have friends and family, but they don't have a partner because of douchebags. Because there's too much douchebaggery, right? So they're lonely as well. It's just we're not calling it a female loneliness epidemic. I think it's very weird. And I also think that the reason why feminism is misunderstood today is because the word gets weaponized before people even engage with the idea. Like they have done such a good job, the right wing, the people you're talking about, framing it as a male epidemic. It's not a male epidemic. It's not something that only affects men. And yet that's how it's being framed. And they're blaming the women and they blame feminism. I mean, when I was a kid, they
Yeah.
called them feminazis. They hate
Really?
women. Yeah, they called them feminazis. It was like a huge thing in the 90s. All the right wing, like there was no Tate brothers back then and stuff, but back then, like we had Karl Rove and Rush Limbaugh and Imus, those guys, they called them feminazis because they had the audacity to think that women should have equal treatment as human beings. But it's kind of like veganism. People don't engage with the idea because the corporations have made such effort to weaponize the word. So they poison the word, so you never get to the idea of what veganism even is. I think that's the same thing that happened with feminism. They poison the word, so if you hear the word feminism, well, it's too late.
I 100% agree with you. Like it's been misconstrued so much.
Intentionally. I think that's by design is my point.
Yeah,